Good evening, my fellow nerds. Happy Saturday. Hope your life is good. Hope you've been blessed. Tonight, we are crossing the pond to the west and going to the far east. Tonight, we're going to be heading for Shanghai. Give me a second while I mute these fuck faces on my phone.
I identify as
There we go. We'll be departing here in just a few short minutes. We've got a few minutes to 9. Will the gate agent please make the final boarding call? I knew I forgot to do something. Forgot to set it to daytime. This is going to be a daytime flight. I always forget to do that in fucking China and the rest of the East. Not sure why, but okay. Alrighty, here we go. We are departing. If I'm not mistaken, I think we're heading towards the city. Not sure. I'm really not familiar with Shanghai. All I know is one of the oldest ports of call in the East. Let's see what kind of trouble we can get into. You got the Pacific Ocean out there off to the right. Gonna piss off some other aircraft. I don't think anybody's in the area, so, you know. Y'all want to get pissed? That's fine. I don't care. It's a fucking game. I'm a blind guy playing a video game where he's a pilot and can't actually be such. I don't give a shit. That has got to be a busy ass airport to have friggin' that large of a friggin'. Of course, I don't know how many people call Shanghai home. I know it's north of 10 million. break over here to the left. Let's see what happens. What is that way out there? Oh, thanks for the follow there, China. Or Shin? I couldn't see who that was. Oh, wait. I guess I better climb. Let's see what happens. There we go. I thought I put my phone on Do Not Disturb. What the hell? There we go. All right. I don't know what those towers off in the distance are. I'm going to take a second to figure that out real quick. All right, so we came off. What a hell of a view. I can't even make any sense of this, and it's not because it's in Chinese. This is one giant clusterfuck. Holy crap. What is. I look at some of the unique open spaces in here, and it's just like, what is that looking thing? Oop, nope. That's a do not enter. I thought that was a parkway. Thought that was a little bit wider. I mean, how densely packed of a city do you have to live in? Like, these buildings, they're all mid-rises. Don't get me wrong; they all look identical, like they were put up by the same state corporation. Uh, for for efficiency's sake. But holy crap! Like, oh, good, they've got POIs on them. I'm gonna climb just a little here. Holy hell, that's an insane looking skyline. What is this? Horagigio? Can anybody tell me what this fricking thing is? At 12.8. Oh, that's the other airport. Never mind. That's the old airport. But what is this giant structure right here? I know Shanghai is one of the most industrious ports in the country of China. And they make a lot of all sorts of different shit. They are, by and large, one of the most advanced cities in the country, with just because of the sheer amount of people that call Shanghai home. But this almost looks like a fucking prison. Are those windows? What are those even? Hold on. Oh, wow, actually some green space. What in the fuck is this? Just a random hill in the middle of the city? That doesn't seem suspicious at all. China, what are you doing? Nothing. All right, well, I certainly hope their downtown urban center is not nearly as jam packed as it was in the residential sectors. This is an impressive looking skyline, though, even for in game. Ooh. Oh, yeah. This is a fun one. Oh, wow. I really don't know. You know, for me growing up, China was underneath their veil of secrecy. And not much was known about. I mean, things were known about how they did business, don't get me wrong, but in very limited respects. And even to this day, you still don't hear about China promoting their tourism or their recreation or the things that they have. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that they are, population wise, the largest country in the world. They have so much other shit on their minds. They are the leading producer of world goods, having the largest GDP in the world, and get so much done for the rest of the globe that they're not worried about bringing people in. They have enough money coming in to not worry about, you know, playing host to, well, just stupid tourists. I mean, like, let's be real. How many people know how to speak Mandarin? How many people understand Chinese culture that didn't grow up there? I was still 10 feet away from the building. What the hell? Ah, damn it. That's a load of crap. I must have been hit by a Chinese missile. That must have been what it was. That's okay. We're restarting. We're coming back again. Well, that fucking sucked. This time I'm going to take you up a little bit higher and show you a little bit more of the surrounding region. What's going on? Are missiles locked? We see here just how vast this city truly is. I mean, you saw how long it took us almost almost 10 minutes. 10 minutes at 100 knots. That's what is that? That's what, 16 miles, 17 miles, 18 miles, somewhere right in there from the airport to the city, and that's not even at the end of the city. Let's follow the expressway, see where this goes. They say that the highways in China are straight just because, just in case any of the airline pilots can't figure out how to land the aircraft safely. And actually, I don't say that to knock them by any stretch. The Chinese are very intelligent people, and actually, they modeled their expressway system after ours. If you look back in American history, Dwight Eisenhower, when he first put together the full interstate highway transportation system, mandated that at least once every 5 miles that a stretch of road had to be completely straight just in case an aircraft had to land in the event of an emergency. So I know you think that I was saying that initially as a joke. It's not a joke. All righty, let's try downtown again, shall we? Hopefully this doesn't go as badly as it did last time. Let's try this riverway first. Let's try this waterway first. We see this riverwalk here. Golf course or farm? Nope, farm. All right, well, down here this time around, we're going to have to give these buildings, I guess, a little bit more of a buffer here. Kinda. The Chinese did recently, just last year, they finished putting up the very first Chinese International Space Station. Um, they sent it up in 3 parts, and they say that later this year they'll be sending up the children to help put it together. Now, going back to what I was saying before, though, you look at China as a whole, they put out so much physically speaking. Look at your clothes, look at your shoes, look at your household goods. I'm willing to bet that at least 30 to 40% of your home's stuff was manufactured in China. And so you don't hear anything about Chinese tourism. You don't hear anything about what there is to do in China or things like that. You hear about the traffic, you hear about the pollution, all the same shit you hear about stateside. Um, they put out world class athletes. Um, you look at the Olympians, they put out their gymnastics team, fantastic every year. The basketball team is always right there with us. Um, Baseball becoming an emerging talent, and with them, I do believe that they have now started playing uh, international matches with Japan on a fairly regular basis, from my understanding. As we look off to the left, we see the poor side of the river. Let's see where this road goes. There's the prison again. I don't know if it's a prison or not. Are those fucking tanks? I think those are fucking tanks. We're going to cut back out towards the river here. Let's go see what the beaches of Shanghai look like. I don't know if they have beaches. These guys work so damn hard as a country, and I really don't know how they get to relax. I assume there's a bridge there in real life. Now, as kids, like, I can't tell you how many times my parents told me, there are kids in China that live on $2 a day and, that work 40-hour weeks. It's like, and you look at things of this nature and you go, how? And you don't think about the supply chain, the global supply chain. The local level is fairly easy. You know that your next door neighbor, the farmer, is paying for the same damn cell phone you and your wife have, and just trying to get by on what they need. But in other countries, in places around the world, they don't have the same expenses because those other same expenses that we have in the United States don't exist. And so, yeah, can people in China live on $2 a day? Probably not, but it's probably a little bit more than $2 a day too. Um, what's the anyway? I mean, Shanghai actually has the highest minimum wage in China at 2,690 yuan per month. And that's roughly the equivalent of about $370 um, per month. Meanwhile, I am seeing some small rentals starting from about 3,000 or starting from about 2,000 won per month in Shanghai. And meanwhile, the other big factor that I look at here, only 3% of the Chinese labor force actually makes minimum wage. And the article I'm reading right now is said does say that it is important to note that these are individuals with disabilities more often than not. And much like us here in the States, the people with disabilities are subsidized over there. How much, I don't know. But this is far from the glamorous coasts that we saw in Rio, and certainly far from the glamorous coasts that we saw in Miami. But meanwhile, as I look to their weather looks very comparable to that of Florida. January, you're getting into the 30s and 40s. February, general high 50. March, 56. July and August, you're getting up into the 80s, 90s throughout the summer. So very comparable to that of like north your central, your Orlando, your Tampa, your Houston type weather. But what you don't see here as we scream along the coast, you don't see sandy beaches. Nothing more than silt and dirt. We see a giant fishing pier. No, that's what is that? Now I have to follow it. Oh, this is the infamous floating airport that started sinking. Let's go check this out. This could be interesting. I think this is the one that started sinking. We're only about 12 miles out, so this should be a quick journey out to kind of see what goes on out here. Has anybody ever experienced this before? What in the fuck is up with my horizon line here? Pull up my vectors real quick. Oh, okay, there is another island over here. I was really starting to wonder. This is not the floating airport. Okay, I don't think. We went a lot further up the coast than I had intended. it's one of those things you kind of lose yourself as you're following that Shanghai coast. So we're going to land here at Yongzing after we take a quick look over it. There's that. Okay. Oh, that's cute. Little random airfield. We're just about 20 miles outside Shanghai. And we are in the middle of farm country. It is insane to think about how the Chinese distribute their lands. And meanwhile, you look down there and you see a whole shitload of mid rises again. Be sure to tune in again tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, we will be exploring one of my favorite cities in the world, Vegas. And we're going to see just what exactly kind of trouble we can get into in Vegas. Uh, and this shit, what happens in Vegas does not stay in Vegas. It lives right here on Twitch. We're going to be touching down here in just a few moments. Thanks again for joining us here as we explore the urban world right here on UrbanEx. Thanks for the follow there, Ryan. Every night right here on Twitch, 9 o'clock Eastern. Yeah, and then on Monday night, actually, we will be taking Explore the World at 8:30. We will be taking a journey up the California coast from LA to Seattle at just 1,000 feet in a 747. So I hope you'll turn in for that. That'll be at 8:30, going till whenever the hell we land, because I still have yet to master the 747. But should make for an entertaining journey. Well, thanks for joining. That's all from Shanghai for tonight. Stay safe. God bless. Enjoy the world.